Hey guys! For today's video, we're going to be doing something a little different. A LEGO thrift store hunt. I'm always on the lookout for rare, vintage, and most importantly, affordable LEGO. And that usually means buying used LEGO off of Facebook Marketplace, or more often, finding it in thrift stores. As you can see, I'm not always lucky, but I usually at least find some interesting piece of LEGO history to look at. Or pop culture history? Anyone remember Reboot? I haven't thought about that show in a while. Anyway, sometimes I do get lucky and have a great find. Like this, I guess what could now be considered vintage LEGO Pirates of the Caribbean set. I also actually found a few other cool things at the store, including this Atlantis set and a few mystery bags. Since the Pirates box was ripped open, I really wasn't expecting it to be a complete set, so I was surprised when the first bag I pulled out was sealed, and less surprised when the second I pulled out was opened. I didn't want to dump the whole thing out in the aisle of Goodwill, so I decided I saw enough pieces at the bottom of the box to justify the purchase. The Atlantis set, however, was obviously missing pieces, and I didn't see any minifigures. Truth be told, it's not a theme I have a particular attachment to, so I decided I'd put it back on the shelf, and hopefully it would find its way to another LEGO collector. Anyway, I took my haul home, and was excited to see what was inside the Pirates box. By the way, it cost $12.99, so not too much of a gamble if it was missing any figures or pieces. Like we saw in the store, the first bag I pulled out was sealed, and the second, not so much. But let me tell you, I was beyond shocked to find the third bag inside completely sealed, with minifigures no less. I dumped out the rest of the pieces and was happy to find the instructions were also inside, along with this little poster. At this point, it seemed likely I had all the pieces for the set, and given that one of the bags was already opened, I made the decision to build it. So I ripped open that 13-year-old plastic and decided I'd record the build. First off, we've got a Captain Jack Sparrow minifigure with face paint, who is actually unique to this set. Next, we have two set-exclusive Oh no, did you hear that? It was at this point in the build that I realized I made a huge mistake. As I was adding the torso to the second minifigure, the plastic cracked and a chunk of it broke off and flew across the room. I don't even know where it went, I still can't find it. So I know that LEGO pieces from the 2010s can sometimes have issues with being brittle, but I seriously thought this set was made before that issue was a problem. And I guess I was wrong. It was at this point that I decided I'd soldier on with the build. I figured if a part breaks, it breaks. At the end of the day, LEGO is just a toy after all. And what's the point of having it if you can't play with it? So here are those two minifigures. And lastly, we have Will Turner, who is not a set exclusive, but for some reason is the most expensive minifigure in the set. I'm guessing it's due to how useful his torso printing must be in historical MOCs. So the first build you see here is a roasting stick, I guess you could say, which I actually found was a pretty fun play feature. Next up, we cracked open that second bag. The first build is a throne, or a altar maybe? This is actually where I started to get really annoyed. Every piece I placed creaked or groaned, and these two headlight bricks actually cracked. And it was about now that I didn't even want to bend Jack's legs for fear of breaking him in half. Up next was the bone cage build. That wasn't brittle at all, but was kind of a pain to build. Literal pain, like my fingers hurt after building this section. But the end results looked well enough. Lastly, we have the third bag that I hoped wasn't missing any pieces. Pretty early on in the build, I had another piece break. So I just flipped it to hide it from view and hoped that no more would break. Besides the constant fear I felt placing every piece, this was a fun little build. And now at this point I did discover I was missing two pieces. These two chain elements, which I was able to replace from my own collection. After that, I attached the cage and the set was complete. Overall, I think it's a really nice little set that manages to pack a ton of play features into a relatively small space. The original sale price of this set was $29.99, which seems a bit steep to me, especially since the set came out in 2011. But considering it's a licensed theme, I guess it's not too bad. And speaking of the price, Bricklink currently has it at an average used price of $53 and an average sealed price of $81. But as I think I've shown in this video, buyer beware on purchasing this one, because it will more than likely have brittle pieces. Overall, as much as I like this set, I think I'm only going to give it a score of 2 out of 5 goats. Mostly due to piece quality. I mean, look at this. The Will Turner figure just shattered as I was trying to take him out of the cage. This whole building experience was stressful, and now I'm really worried some of my older LEGO sets are going to start breaking like this. But what do you guys think? Do you like this set? Would you have built it if you found it? Or was I wrong to try to put it together? Let me know in the comments. Oh, I almost forgot. We have a whole nother mystery bag to open. So this bag ended up costing me $19.99. Let's see what we got. First off, a sealed LEGO City poly bag from 2011. Not super interesting, but a good start. Instructions to a power miner set. But I can already tell hardly any of the pieces are in the bag. I guess a cool find nonetheless. The third instruction manual for an old LEGO City set. This is where I started feeling like this mystery bag was going downhill. A 48 by 48 light bluish gray base plate. This one's actually pretty useful. Okay, now for the fun stuff, the minifigures. I'm just gonna show them all now in rapid fire, and I'll put the prices at the end. We've got a mummy, a goofy skeleton, a not so goofy skeleton, a magnet figure of some kind, a rock dude, another magnet, whatever this guy is, also some Super Mario characters, and lastly, a power miner. Turns out this guy is actually a mix between the CMF wrestler and baseball player, but in the state he's in, he's only worth about $3. Similarly, this mummy/pharaoh figure isn't worth much, since he's a mix between an actually pretty valuable Omset Raw figure and a less valuable mummy warrior. Next up, we've got a power miner with paint on his leg. Sorry buddy, not worth much at all. After that, we've got a blue rock monster. Lastly, we've got a few Ninjago skeletons. Now they aren't worth a ton, but the parts will be really useful in my Fantasy MOC builds, so I'm glad they were in there. Overall, not the greatest mystery bag, but I had a lot of fun going through it, and a few of the parts will be useful in my MOCs, so I'm happy. Overall, I spent about $33 on all of this LEGO, and got a total of $81 in value back. Well, probably a lot less considering all those broken pieces. But what do you think? Would you have bought this bag? Are there any interesting pieces I missed? And what's up with these Mario characters? Let me know in the comments. Oh, and remember to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. I'm still waiting on some Bricklink orders, but I'll be back as soon as possible with the next installment of the Trash Kingdom. As always, thanks for watching, and until next time, see ya!